A lot of clients come to me saying, Dina, life from the outside looks good. I have great kids, I have a spouse, I have a job, everything is going well. But then there is this weird underlying tension, like I can never relax. It feels like the moment I relax, something is going to go wrong. So I have to always be on. I always have to pay attention to what's happening. There's this tightness in my body, and there's this in the back of my head, these constant thoughts that seem to come out of nowhere. What is it? And when I read their energy, a lot of times what I will see is a lot of energy in their first chakra, which is in the hip area. And what that area is about, it's about our relationship to the society we live in. It's our relationship to the tribe, it's our relationship to the family. So it's our relationship to other people. And when I see energy there, I know that we should go and we should explore what has happened in their life or in the life of their family or even in the life of their culture that has caused this heavy energy to settle in their hip area. It can be causing lower back pain, it can be causing tight hip issues, but it's also causing a survival type of anxiety, like a fight or flight anxiety. So, for example, I had a client, Sarah. She was in her mid 50s at the time, and she said to me exactly what I told you. She said, I just can't relax. Everything is fine, but I can't relax. And when I read her energy, I said, I see something very interesting there. I see a small child who is living a good life. They're playing, everything is wonderful, everything is good. And then everything goes wrong. And then I see a group of people in a tight space and they're all screaming. He said, can you share a little bit about the background of your family? What culture do you come from where your parents were born and grandparents were born? And she said, this is fascinating because all my life I've had a dream of being stuck inside of a cattle car, inside of a train cattle car. And then she shared with me that her parents were Holocaust survivors, and they actually experienced that. And they never talked to her about their experience. So it's not like she was an impressionable young child that could have those images stick in her head and then just become a part of her experience. They never really talked about it. And yet it showed up in her dreams. And she said, yeah, just like in the story about the small child that she told me everything was fine and then everything was all hell broke loose. That's exactly how I feel. And that's why I can't relax because somewhere deep inside, that's what it feels like it's going to happen. And I have to pay attention. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it through. And then I had another client. She said, I work hard and I'm learning a lot and I'm putting all my skills to use and I'm doing pretty well, but I can't get out of the cycle of having ends meet at the end of the month. So I'm in abundance in terms of I can pay my bills, but I never have enough. I can never save money. When I read her energy, what I saw in her maternal line specifically, there were always problems with money, yet they were always able to make ends meet. And at the end of the month, they were excited and happy about the fact that, yes, they made it. And that was their pride, that was their joy, and that was their goal. So it's like this goal that she grew up with, that she observed her mom have of just having ends meet and that be enough. That goal got stuck in her energy. And so, of course, she was fulfilling the goal that was in her subconscious, which is to make ends meet. And so she was stuck in that cycle, and we worked together, healing that experience of always not having enough. And in my own case, I always wondered, ever since I was a child, I myself would have this really visceral reaction to historical movies about the Holocaust. Now, I was born in the Soviet Union, and both sets of my grandparents went through World War II. They were not in the Holocaust directly, but culturally, I'm Jewish, and we all know the horrors that have happened at that time. And my grandparents, they never talked to me about that as well. But I noticed every time I saw those old films, or even when I saw movies about the Holocaust, like the Schindler's List, or even Life is Beautiful, if you remember that one, that was a great film. It's like it felt like I was gonna explode from the inside. All I could do was just not break down in tears. And this was kind of embarrassing because nobody else reacted that way. Everybody, of course, they knew that this was not a pleasant thing to watch, and they knew about history, but it just didn't hit them in the same way as it hit me. And I always wondered about that. I thought maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm crazy. And then as I was studying to be an energy healer, as I was learning about connection with spirit, about ancestral work, I realized that this pain that was being triggered was the pain that was passed down to me through my bloodline, through generations, and not just through the experience of my grandparents, but also through the entire 2,000 years of cultural persecution for the Jewish people. And even though my life has been pretty good, I've had loving parents, I grew up in a safe space. I was very lucky. And yet, culturally and ancestrally, there was always this tension, this pain, this fear. When I realized that this was not mine, that this did not belong to me, this was actually an incredible revelation of freedom. Because even though, yes, it was passed down to me, even though, yes, it is in my energy body, it's not mine. And being not mine, meaning having not gone through that experience with this body, this type of energy was fairly easy to clear. And the way to clear it is to go back and to send love and healing to those ancestors that have suffered. And you don't have to know exactly who those ancestors were. Sometimes I've seen family trauma go back many, many generations. They've never met those people. I see this a lot in my clients of Irish descent whose ancestors came to the US during the 19th century, during the potato famine. It was not easy for them. And I also see with them specifically in their first chakra. I also see a lot of energy there, and it has to do with issues of worthiness. And again, we look back at their family history and we see the struggle, we see the pain that they went through, and this pain got transferred to them. Now, this field that I'm talking about is actually very well known in science. It's called epigenetics. Epigenetics talks about how genes express themselves. And the idea is that, yes, we have genes, physical genes that are passed to us through our parents, but we also have energy or memories of experiences that our family members, those who share our blood, experienced before us. We also have this big database that gets passed down to us. And this is a beautiful thing because this is a gift that nature gave us that helps us survive. Imagine if we were just born a blank slate without all this wisdom, without all this knowledge that comes to us from the past. We would have fewer tools to deal with life. Now, at the same time, we would also have fewer problems. But all of these things, they're part of us, they're part of our heritage. But they don't have to stay the way that they were given to us. Because even though the biology creates us in a way so the experience of the past does get passed down to us so that we're better able to survive. What nature doesn't always think about, so to speak, is that things change, situations change, and the traumas and the pain that the ancestors in the past have went through, they're not necessarily our current experience. Our body doesn't know that. We have to teach our body that. And so when we learn about our family history, and not just our immediate family, but also culturally, we can often draw parallels about how we feel and how we react, especially automatically and subconsciously. We can draw a parallel between what happened to our family members, our community members in the past, and how we're feeling today. Many of us now have come with a soul contract, which is an agreement that our soul has made before incarnating into this specific body about things that it's going to do. And one of the big things I see in the contract is the idea and the agreement that we are here to stop the pain. The pain stops with us. So, whatever came before us, even though it got passed down to us through our DNA and is in our blood, we have agreed to stop it. And so that our children and the children of their children don't experience it. And this is how we change society overall. This is very powerful work. It's not just work to help us feel better. It's not just work so we can have more money, so that we can relax, so that we can enjoy life. It's so that those who come after us are not born with that, and that we can contribute to building a new society, a society that does not necessarily have to come from pain, a society that can start from a position of spirit, a position of love, a place of peace, and a place of hope. What I want to share with you is a very simple process or an experience where you go back in time to either those family members that you know that have experienced incredible trauma, or to your culture, to your heritage, that you know a bit of a history of that have also went through turmoil, and we can send peace and love to them. When we do that, when we send healing and peace and love to those who came before us, because in the universal sense, time is not linear, it resets it for us. And in essence, it becomes as if we were born into a family that never experienced that. And close your eyes. We're going to do a very short guided meditation where we will send love to those who came before us. We will send gratitude to them for having been born, for having experienced what they have experienced. We will acknowledge that this wasn't easy for them, and we will free them of the pain that got written in their DNA and got passed down to us, and then that will free us as well. Imagine in front of you a screen, a big movie screen, and there's a movie of it about you and your family. And this movie is playing backwards. If you think about those old movies that were on a roll of film that used to spin this way and play the film, now it's spinning backwards. And so you are going back in time. You're becoming younger and younger. And now you're a small child. And now you're inside the womb of your mom. And then your mom is becoming younger and younger. And then she becomes in the womb of her mom. And at one point, maybe it has already for you, this film will stop. And you will end up right in the place where you are to send healing right now. You may end up with a vision of your mom or of your grandma or even of your dad and his parents. Or you may see people wearing clothes from the 1920s, for example, or from the 19th century. Or the film keep going backwards and backwards and backwards to the Middle Ages. Do not be attached exactly to where that film stops. Just let it stop. Wherever it stops, that is where it's meant to be. Just observe what you see on the screen. Whether you see somebody you know or people you don't know. Maybe they're just there looking at you. Maybe they're doing things. Maybe they're sharing a story. Take your attention to your heart center. And from that heart center, visualize pink light going out from your heart to them. And through that pink light, send them your love. Send them your gratitude. It doesn't matter whether this particular person has caused you pain. It doesn't matter what they have experienced. What matters is at this point in time, you are fulfilling your soul contract, which is to free them of the anger, of the pain, of the worry, of the experience that they have went through or that perhaps they have inherited from their bloodline. Send them love. Send them gratitude. And tell them that they are free. They no longer have to suffer. Their spirit guides are with them. And the same way as your spirit guides are with you right now. And these spirit guides too are here helping you. They are sending their energy to the person or people in front of you. Your spirit guides are sending them love. Their spirit guides are sending them love. And as this love spreads through them and all around them, feel them coming apart, like pixelating into small bits and slowly, slowly disappearing, slowly releasing. It's kind of like when you watch a movie about a person who becomes a ghost and then they disappear. First, they're solid, and then they become see through, and then they spread into little pieces, and then they're there no more. And this is exactly what is happening to the pain and the trauma that those who came before you are carrying. It is free. They are free. They're no longer stuck in that pain loop. Their spirit is connected to source, and their suffering is no longer needed. You no longer need it. You are not them. The life that you live is not the life that they have lived. And so you, yourself, are also free of that. And more than that, you have just fulfilled an agreement that your soul has made before coming into this existence to stop the pain so that you and those who come after you can be free and can enjoy life and can build a new world, a new society. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes.